welcome to Across the Bifrost, the Mighty Thor podcast, where on each and every episode we explore the world of Marvel's Mighty Thor. I am one of your hosts, Ryan Doze, and I am joined by, he's not my brother from another pantheon, but I consider him like a pizza pal. I love talking pizza with Eric Teskey, and I also love talking comics with Eric Teskey. So we're going to talk about two new comics today that we were very excited about. Eric, we've got kind of a great few slices, as you might say, in your parlance, in your part of the internet.
Don't hit me with these pizza puns. You're making me hungry now. So we've just been chatting about pizza. We're serving up some spicy issues today. Some Mike's Hot Honey dripping all over these great comics this week. Fantastic week for comics. So we've got really good ones in the Thor-adjacent world of Thor with no Thor appearances in these actual issues.
So that's another thing where if you are a sporadic listener to ATB, or you are seeing this, you're like, why in the world are we talking about Knull? Knull has his own book. Maybe you've been out of the loop for a little bit. We have been covering Doctor Strange and Knull because they are heavily, as Eric said, Thor-adjacent. We're covering Knull because Hela, the goddess of death in Thor comics, is kind of the big bad over in Knull's neck of the woods, and she is only going to be more and more big bad as the summer progresses. We may talk a little bit about some news that came out over Marvel Comics' social medias just recently, just today, as we've been preparing for this conversation. But also we're talking about Doctor Strange because Strange has been in Asgard for a long time. Strange has been in Asgard since Doctor Strange took the mantle of Sorcerer Supreme from him years ago at this point, in real time. So Strange has been in Asgard, and he's been solving mysteries like a Sherlock Holmes, like a Benedict Cumberbatch, putting together both of his iconic roles. He is solving mysteries all around Asgard, and he has awoken a dark elf sorcerer, because who doesn't? Who doesn't go to Asgard and uncover some ancient shit you shouldn't have messed with? That is why we are talking about Doctor Strange. That's why we are talking about Knull. And I asked Eric what we should talk about first. I'm ashamed I even asked Eric, because Knull is clearly the thing we should talk about first, especially people tuning into this to learn about Thor stuff, because there is Thor lore aplenty in Knull number 2. Do you want me to do the details first, Eric, or is there a preamble that this comic needs? Maybe something you were thinking going into it, or should we just cut the crap and get right into the details?
I know. I mean, I know which one I picked up and read first. As soon as I got home, I opened up Knull because I was just dying to find out. You misspoke a second ago. You said that it was Doctor Strange gave the mantle to Doctor Doom months and months and months and months ago. You said Strange got it from Strange or something like that. But yes. I forgot it was wasn't it like last summer?
I think it was Blood Hunt.
It's been it's going to be a year probably coming up this summer.
Ridiculous.
So
Strange has not been Sorcerer Supreme in a long time. Clea was Sorcerer Supreme at one point. Then I think Strange got it back. Then Strange gave it back. It was taken from him by Doom. Now Wanda is Sorcerer Supreme. The Sorcerer Supreme mantle has been thrown around so often in the last few years, and Strange doesn't have that title anymore. He's still just solving mysteries. We're really enjoying that. Believe me, us covering Knull first is no discredit to what Derek Landy is doing with Doctor Strange. We are thoroughly enjoying that book. But Knull had just the meatiest bite that we have to talk about.
I want to let's rip into it like some Outriders here and get right into the meat of it.
Fantastic. So here's a little bit of details about this book. It is written by Al Ewing and Tom Waltz. Fantastic art by Juan and Ramirez. We get covers from Ryan Stegman, and we have a fantastic murderer's row of creators on this book, and we pick up from last issue where we left off. Knull has escaped Hela's prison, but that was kind of Hela's plan the whole time, because she needs him to go get away so she can become more and more powerful, as she has an ace up her sleeve, and it's her old fling, Thanos. We start the issue with Thanos kind of putting his Outrider creatures in their place, and he gets them all aligned under him one more time. We cut to Knull. Knull gives a fantastic little history lesson of his interactions in the past with the champions of the God of Light, the antithesis of him being the darkness, the void. We get a lot of allusions to They're past both in Venom comics and in a very crucial Thor comic. We cut back to Knull. Knull goes back to the world that Gore found the All Black sword on. He goes back there because he is looking for something. Now we know All Black does not belong to him right now, but he's not looking for All Black. He is looking for a tool, a weapon, a relic of the God of Light, the Champion of Light, that he defeated all the way back at the beginning of Jason Aaron's run of Thor. This is what reading an Al Ewing comic is like. The smallest little detail gets picked up a decade later. And in case you were thinking it would be that easy for Knull to just take the spear that the Champion used when they fought all the way back in Jason Aaron's Thor, it's not that easy. Because as he comes around the corner, he fights a few of these monsters that we remember from the beginning of the issue, the Outriders of Thanos. And who is holding the spear that Knull is looking for? None other than the Mad Titan himself, Thanos. And we are in for a titanic battle in the next issue. You would have to think. But Eric, anything I missed out there? Your first impressions of this fantastically lore-filled issue of Knull #2.
Oh my goodness. When I was reading through this, I was just giddy on the edge of my seat. When they're going back to the nameless planet, the planet that Gore's origin story was told on, I'm like, oh my gosh, like,
yes,
that's like, we're going back there. That's where he was. Like, because, and Faz and I are right now reading through the Jason Aaron run in our Deific Duos Road to 800. So this is very, very timely for us because we just read this. And so knowing that they're on this dusty, lifeless dirt ball, there's only one thing they could want on this barren planet, and that is like to find this weapon. I love the scene where it alludes back to, Gore. As soon as he found the All Black, he kind of got this symbiote spacesuit thing with wings and pieced out and like left the planet. So everything that's still there has been untouched this whole time. And so it's kind of there for the taking. He remembers that's there and is going to go back and try to grab it.
I would just like to confirm for everybody, this is only the 4th appearance of All Light. Only the 4th appearance. Jason used it once. Ewing used it in Venom once. It was used as a flashback in the King in Black event, which I personally love. This is the first time I really feel like the weapon has been used narratively, not just as a flashback to telling some of Knull's backstory. It's only the 4th time it's shown up, Eric. That's ridiculous. And the fact that it's being picked up now is nuts because it's just been sitting there.
Well, it's so cool to see in the first issue of Knull, we got a hint at his role as he's kind of the protagonist. I mean, the book's named after him. So we're kind of like wondering what's going to happen. I still don't know who to root for. I'm kind of rooting for Hela the whole time because I want to see how she's playing this master chess game here. Like, what do you mean it's all part of your plan that he leaves and goes to this other planet? It's fascinating to see Knull without All Black, but he still has his little like weird symbiote buddies that grow out of him, and like those can't stand the heat and the light of this planet, so they kind of recede back into him. He still has his new power that we're learning about where he can sort of teleport into anywhere that is a void, that is like devoid of something. That phrasing came up a few times that said like devoid was in bold, and like this idea of things being without or lacking. So just a lot of really, really fun symbolism and lore and just it felt historic reading it. It felt important. We were joking about like, okay, these solicitation covers are getting a little out of hand. We've already seen a few issues out to kind of see, okay, there's costume changes coming up, there's big things happening, but that doesn't take away from how exciting it is to have that last page turn and see Thanos there standing there with this golden spear that we first saw back on this planet in a Jason Aaron comic.
Yeah, there is something about when a writer with the skill and foresight of Al Ewing to use an element that has not been really incorporated back into storytelling. Because I'm just doing a little bit of a quick search here, and I want to get the number correct. All Black as a character, as an item in and of itself, has shown up in the 616 almost 50 times since its creation. in the same issue that all light is created. Exponentially more times. And more writing, more artwork has been devoted to Knull, usually with the Necrosword, with all black, or Gore with all black. That weapon is kind of like, in the last 10 years, last decade, it's kind of been the cool weapon to have. If you want to soup up a character, like, get it near all black. You know, whether it's Ego the Living Planet, whether it's Galactus, whether it's
Godzilla.
I like that. Is just it's been prevalent. And in our group chat, everybody, I just need you to know, we kind of read our new comics in a staggered way. Some of us get to them sooner, some of them get to us later. So we have to be vague when it comes to what we've read, what we really liked. And at one point, Faz said it like blew his mind, or like it was incredible. And I was like, what could Knull #2? No discredit to the creators, but what could Knull #2 say about the story that would actually blow my mind? And as I'm reading it, I'm like, okay. And there it is. Holy shit. And so it did deliver on that, really, like, that Thor nerd in me was just like, oh my gosh, that's a reference from Thor, God of Thunder That's one of my favorite issues. And that, like, legitimately, that is one of my favorite issues of Thor comics, because it's the Gorigin story. And for Al Ewing to go back to that and be like, I'm going to take this really powerful weapon we haven't done anything with, and I'm going to make it a focal point of this Knull meta-narrative I'm going to be telling throughout the summer. That's just badass, man. Like, that, I can't get over how cool that was. But I pontificate at length. Like,
I mean, I think we get to claim, I'm pretty sure we get to claim Knull as a Thor character, kind of, because
Thor and Venom, yeah.
Yeah, like he's in Thor's world, and so it's right at home here, infusing into a Gore story. I liked how Knull was very condescending about Gore. He's like talking about this Gore the insignificant.
Yeah.
He absconded with this weapon, and he's just like some putz compared to like the, Knull, who is an elder god in and of himself, right? So he's like on a different level there. I really loved this one panel where Knull rips one of the Outriders in half.
Yes.
First of all, how badass is the name Outrider? Like, freaking love that.
Yeah.
And these things are, basically Power Ranger putties. Like, these are not going to be taking anybody out, but they're fun to demolish. So
they are so putties.
He rips this Outrider in half, which is an homage to himself ripping Sentry in half, which is an homage to Sentry ripping Ares in half. And so it's all...
The iceberg goes so much deeper than you think.
Yeah, so fantastic. And the violence is fun, the gore is fun, and it's just a good time, just wholesome comics.
Yeah, wholesome content for the whole family, actually. Come on, kids, let's gather around the fireplace and read Knull #2.
Yeah.
Dad, this is a weird bedtime story. I was going to say that too. The fight scene with the Outriders at the end, right before we get the reveal of Thanos with the spear, I was like, you're right. There's no way. This is Cap against Hydra henchmen. This is Iron Man against AIM mechanics. Like they're not going to win, but the way Knull is, Juan and Ramirez's artwork is on full display in these fight scenes, because what I love about how Juan and Ramirez has done Knull is he makes him look very human in one panel. Very, like, his mouth is smaller and it's tighter and his eyes are softer. And then when he's fighting the Outriders, his smile, like, extra abnormally, it elongates and his teeth get sharper and his eyes get more angular. And you're like, oh my gosh, like, it's just like, you're able to quickly shift to be like, oh, right, he's not a good guy. Like, he is the point of view character. And yeah, like Eric said, he's probably our protagonist in this story against Hela because she's a bigger bad, but he is also not a good guy. So I'm getting almost like early Venom vibes, like where it's like, oh, he's scary, but he's going after the scarier guys.
Yeah.
And I just love that scene at the end. I cannot imagine, as we kind of get into like the foreshadowing part, I cannot imagine how insane issues 3, 4, and 5 are going to be, because we've turned the corner. We have to fight Thanos at this point. Eric, we probably at least need to talk a little bit about like the Queen in Black event is coming. The Queen in Black, well, the Free Comic Book Day issue has already been announced forever ago, but announcements came out the day we're recording this, just a few days ago, as people are listening to this, that the Queen in Black event is starting this summer, I believe in June, and we got some artwork for it. So however much you want to say about it is awesome. Totally, I'll back you on that. But how does this issue, how does this style we're getting, how does it get you more and more hyped for what's coming next?
I mean, what I'm really excited about is when they do not just costume changes, but big power scaling changes, big status quo changes. When we see characters from our little world of Thor, our little Thor corner of the Marvel Universe, like Hela, get a massive glow up like this, like she deserves. She's headlining this event. She is basically like, is she the big bad or is she the good guy? Because KNULL is a tough guy to root for. So it's like, it's still kind of unclear. They're in this confrontation, definitely, but I don't know who I'm going to like feel for at the end of the day. I don't know who I'm going to be kind of rooting for when this event happens, because I could, right now, KNULL is still not a nice dude. And it's kind of hard to look at Hela as being as villainous, because she's sort of like a neutral bad. I mean, she's like in a lot of Thor comics, she's like almost more like a force of nature, and she doesn't take like glee in killing people, but she just needs to.
Right.
So now I want to see if she's actually scheming because she's making a power grab or what. Like, I don't know how to feel about this.
I agree with you, because I kind of have that feeling when, in monster movies or horror movies, they'll pit, two of the villains against each other. And it's like Freddy versus Jason or Alien versus Predator. It's like, no matter who wins, we lose. That's how I feel when we're getting closer to KNULL versus Hela. It's like, who's going to win? It's like, I think you've missed the point. We're all screwed. And in this artwork, maybe I'll say this one. You can go check it out for yourself, listener. There are more Thor characters on this solicitation art. There are more people connected to Thor's world, so you're not going to want to miss the Queen in Black event. And if it's anything like, if Al is bringing anything like what Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman brought to the King in Black event, we are in for a wild ride. It's Al Ewing and Iban Coelho, who, like, two masters. Again, like, it's two people who are creative geniuses doing a concept that two other creative geniuses did, but they're adding their own twist and a unique spin on it. I am very excited for Queen in Black. Hela's getting that glow up, Eric. She's finally getting that glow.
And actually, now that you say it, I'm not gonna spoil it either. You should go look up the event marketing for it. But I will say, okay, now that you remind me of that, there is a character that seems to be aligned with Hela that it would be impossible to root against. And that they have such strong moral character that they are surely on the good side in this equation.
And I will tell you, listeners, like, we're not talking about like an alternate version of 616 Thor. We're not talking about like, oh, well, Queen in Black just pretends that Immortal Thor's not happening. No, it's Al Ewing. It's going to make sense. It's going to be interconnected with the story he's telling. Eric is right. If this character is on the side that I think they're on, it's like, okay, well, how in the world did we get there? I'm very curious about that. Eric, anything else to say about KNULL number 2? I think it's safe to say we thoroughly enjoyed it.
Listener, it's not too late. Run out and grab this comic. Start pulling this, because it looks like it's going to set up a really fun, big summer event. And even if you're not excited about that, this book itself is just really, really quality stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And if you're able to, a little shout out here, go grab the variant cover that Martin Coccolo did. It kicks ass. And it looks like the cover of a heavy metal album, which I know is like, how many of us like don't love that? We spent most of the last episode of the Deific Duo's Journey into Mystery talking about the Blood Colossus. Like, come on, if your like heart and your spirit was I don't know, I can't think of a non-inappropriate way to say this. Like, if you were excited about stuff like that, you will love this cover that Martin did, and you'll love KNULL number 2. Another person I know that really, really loved this issue was one of our brothers, Faz, who wasn't able to be here for this conversation. So I am going to throw it to him right now to tell you how he was enjoying Knull number 2, because I guarantee you, I can only imagine the celebratory things that went on as he was reading this issue. So here we go.
So friends, this was supposed to be the part of the episode where Faz gives you his thoughts via audio clip. And that didn't happen. He pulled a power move, and instead of sending us an audio clip of him saying these things to you, he just sent over bullet points as a list of things he demanded we say on his behalf. So I'm going to do my best. Here we go. Here were Faz's thoughts about Doctor Strange and Knull. Firstly, Doctor Strange was, quote, one of the issues of all time. And that is all Mr. Fazio would like to say about the latest issue of Doctor Strange. Okay. He had much more to say about Knull number 2, though. Knull number 2 is required reading for the Deific Duo's Journey into Mystery, Road to 800, and that you all should go listen to the episodes of the Deific Duo that are out now on the ATB feed. He wants to let you also know that they are way better than our normal episodes. Shots fired, I guess. So plug there. Knull is important, especially for their next part of the Deific Duo's Journey to 800. The gore details in this issue were awesome, and it makes Knull even cooler than he already is. Loved the inclusion of Thanos at the end, really at the beginning and the end, but especially the end. And also would like you to know that DC's current event, KO, is almost over, and DC has announced the reign of the Superboys. What could be next? So yeah, that was Faz's thoughts on the latest issues of Knull and Doctor Strange, and then he got Superman in there somehow. Now here is actually Will Rose's thoughts, and I know they're from Will Rose. I'm not going to be reading Will Rose's thoughts. He sent in an audio clip to share his thoughts on these latest 2 issues. So I will now do an Inception thing. We're already in a cutaway, but we're actually going to cut away again to another cutaway. So here's Will.
Hello, friends and listeners and supporters of Across the Bifrost. I'm really sad that I couldn't be a part of the recording in person tonight, but I'm going to send my message and chime in anyway. Sorry I couldn't be there, but, I'm too busy watching the Winter Olympics and pondering to train for the curling team to be ready for the Olympics in Salt Lake City in 2034. So stay tuned for that. Knull number 2, man, what a comic. This comic was so good, and it's another one of those examples of why I read and collect and enjoy comics so much. Al and Tom, the writing was fantastic. The art by Ramirez is just out of this world. And whenever Thanos rolls up and reminds us, in case we forgot, how much of a badass he is, man, boy, did he ever. And whenever he shows up, it's serious. And so I really felt like, man, they did their job. They did it well. And then it's nice to see a flashback of the Golden Knight and the All Light and the battle between him and Knull. And there is Gore. Man, Gore and the Godslayer. Really loved how this is setting up kind of a big climactic battle between Knull and Hela. And, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think by the end of this thing, call me crazy, but Hela could be the Black Queen. I'm going to go out on a limb. You heard it here first, folks. Yep, that's what I think this is leading to. What a fantastic comic. Loved it a lot. Doctor Strange number 3, or Legacy number 453. Derek Landy, Ivan Forielli do a good job here. You mean, come on. I like elves. I like light elves. I like dark elves. I like Asgard. I like angels. I like Doctor Strange. I like magic spells. I like teleportation technology. I sometimes like drama, and this comic has all those things. And yeah, so I like this comic. There are times when it seems a little too busy, maybe a little wordy. There's a lot of words on the page, but I really enjoy this comic, and I sure hope that a second War of the Realms doesn't break out. Man, is leading to that. I just don't know what I'm going to do. Guess I'll just spend more money on more comics. Yeah, these comics were fun, and I will enjoy hearing what my fellow co-hosts have to say about them. In this episode that you're listening to, I'm listening to it right along with you. And just another recommendation, if you really want a banger of a comic, if you want to follow the adventures of Flip Minnow, then check out Dynamite Comics, The Muppet Noir #1. Man, what a comic that was. Yeah. All right, y'all. Have fun, be safe, and whatever you do, wherever you are, you got to stay worthy.
Okay, Eric, now we are going to dig into Doctor Strange #3 from Derek Landy, Yvonne Fiorelli, covers by Alex Horley, and the rest of the squad. They're putting together a really, really fun, deep, interwoven, interconnected story with Strange in Asgard. This is, I believe, the 8th or 9th issue that we've gotten of Derek writing Stephen in Asgard. So far, I'll give a synopsis in a second, but so far, Eric, I think it's safe to say we have been big fans of this book and what Derek Landy is trying to do.
Absolutely. Yeah. We all fell in love with the writing, with the slice of life in Asgard, with the humor, with the Strange being a little bit like a fish out of water in this culture shock of being in a different sort of area. And we are getting a grand tour of the 9 realms.
Yeah.
And so if you feel like you've been missing out on that because of Thor being a street level book for right now, we got plenty of 9 realms to tour through to get your fill, with Angela being a major team player with this. And so also getting Angela in a book in a huge role, in a recurring role for the first time in a long time.
And this book really does pick up right where #2 left off, because the end of #2, in case you have not read it, please go read it. It was delightful. We saw a massacre of the angels of heaven. Gallifreyon, our favorite new character that was in 3 pages, and then he died. But he wasn't as dead as we thought he was. We see many of the angels and the anchorites, who are the male angels that are they're kept around for breeding season. We'll just call it what it is. And the Queen of Heaven dies, and we start this issue with Angela and Stephen consoling her daughter, who is racked with grief and kind of survivor's guilt that all these people were taken out. Angela, it is alluded to again that Angela is actually the rightful queen, the regent of heaven, and it is a title that she does not want, for she wants to do other things. And she is being the strong, almost one note character of I don't want to do it. I just want to go out and kick ass. It's Angela, we are very supportive of you doing that. So whether you are ruling heaven or you're kicking ass all over the 9 realms, we're here for the ride. We'll put it that way. We do jump back over to Alfheim, because the last person that is connected with Verboten, who was actually around when he was locked away, is the Queen of the Light Elves. And the Queen of the Light Elves is attacked by a dark version of her own daughter, her own dark daughter. So now there's 2 dark daughters. And not only does Verboten have the dark daughter of the Queen of Heaven, Hela, he also made a dark daughter of the Queen of the Light Elves, who we find out in this issue is actually Verboten's mom. It's becoming a little soap opera-ish. So if Eric, correct me if I get names and relations, the relative.
You're doing great. I'm learning from you right now, because I read this whole comic yesterday, and I can't keep all this stuff straight.
I read it yesterday, and then I was like, hold on, there was a lot of family tree stuff. I got to reread it before we talk about it. So we find out that the dark daughter that attacks the Queen of the Light Elves is actually Verboten's mom. He brought back a dark scythe magic. But what we found out in this issue are called scythes. These copies, these shadow copies, are actually called scythes. And he creates one of his mom, and his mom attacks his grandmother, the Queen of the Light Elves, and Stephen and Angela are able to subdue this certain dark daughter. His mother, the shadow version of his mother, is crazy. And they're able to talk her down. And she and her mom have a tender moment towards the end, but then she evaporates. And we resolve that story in like 7 or 8 pages. But it gives us the clue we need for Stephen and Angela to continue on with their journey. We go to another one of the 9 realms. So we're kind of just knocking off this 9 realms roadmap. The 10 realms, actually, because we've been to heaven. We go to Vanaheim, and Vanaheim is the realm of the old gods, not the new gods, the Aesir. We go to the old gods' home, and we find a giant stone. It almost looks like a Palantir from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And Strange says that like this can't be broken. He feels this dark energy inside of it. He proposes that if they're able to break open this orb, Angela just wants to cut it in half. And it's like, more power to you, girl. I don't think that's going to work. But they're both very suspicious that if they can break this orb open, then Verboten will be weakened by it. They get like a Star Trek, like beep, beep, beep little message from heaven. And one of the angels says to Angela, like, hey, you need to get back here. She's like, I'm busy doing detective stuff here in Vanaheim. We're looking at shiny rocks. You know, we don't have time for this. They're like, well, the queen's daughter, Riala, may have just declared war on Svartalfheim. So you might want to handle that.
The Dark Elves are not going to take kindly to that. Yeah.
Because we find out the Dark Elves are harboring Verboten. So Riala, the dead Queen of the Angels' daughter, she is going to Svartalfheim with the angels, with a choir of angels. And we are on the brink, Eric, of a second War of the Realms. Thoughts on Doctor Strange number 3?
You certainly get your money's worth with this comic. I think I've said it out of all of these in the series so far. You read it and you feel like you've read a novel. Like they pack a lot into this. It's not just a bunch of filler, a bunch of fluff of like, oh, how can we drag this out? They go from heaven to Alfheim to Vanaheim to Svartalfheim, all in the pages of this comic. I mean, you get done with the middle section with the Dark Daughter and the learning about the family tree stuff, and then there's another scene that comes after that. So with multiple pages. So it's not just like hinting at what comes next. We are getting a lot of different scene, like 3 different major scene changes in this one issue, carrying the story along, covering so much ground.
This was, I think that was well said, like saying we're covering a lot of ground here. This is not the most action-heavy issue so far, but last issue was. And this issue was, you know, kind of like how comics work. There's a modern comics is kind of like we have an up and kind of a little bit of a decline, then an up, and then, you know, we either start big or we end big. And this one was definitely, we had a big action sequence in the middle, but it was kind of, we started down here, you know, for the start, we went up a little bit and then we ended down, and then we had a sharp turn up at the end.
Yeah.
Riala declaring war on Svartalfheim like, as a character, I get it. Like, she's just lost her mother. She thought her mother was immortal. And Angela even says at the beginning of the issue, that's really not how immortality works anymore. Like, there is something beyond this. But, like, we don't have time for that now because we've got to stop Verboten before this second War of the Realms kicks off. She's like, and Riala almost is like, but she's off screen. I just imagine she's like, you know what? I'm not going to give him the satisfaction. I'm going to start it. So she is launching this full-out assault with the angels on the Dark Elves, and the solicitation for next issue is almost like, yeah, this ain't going to be good. Like angels versus Dark Elves. There's just no way this ends well. I feel like with the Doctor Strange book, though, Eric, we didn't get as much Strange in this book. Did that bother you? Or as Thor fans, are we just like, hey, anyway, we get more Thor world building, we're happy with no matter what?
I mean, obviously, it's fun. It's fun for us Thor fans to see more of the Nine Realms and see Angela and learn all about this. But we are getting a fair amount of Strange. I think my first impression after I read this was like, yeah, Strange was kind of just like watching this drama unfold, but he didn't do as much. But it's like, I went back and it's like, no, he is having fun with these spells that are different in Asgardian magic compared to the Earth magic. He's getting to use some magician tech, right? These like these artifacts, these different artifacts, and explaining how they work and how they, if he uses them in a certain way, it drains him. We see he discovers there's this device that like is a teleportation device, and he's getting really distracted now because he's starting to think, well, shoot, what if I just went home? Like, I know I'm on this sort of like this quest in the Nine Realms, but do I have to be? And it's showing some of that tugging at him, thinking, could I just go back right now and kind of what am I doing here? So a little bit of he's planting the seeds of becoming disillusioned or thinking about, I've been out here for so long now, like we were just saying, it's been for even in our time, months and months. And so he's been up there. In that time, he doesn't even know it yet that Doom's been dealt with. And Wanda is now the Sorceress Supreme. So like,
that's got to have a resolution.
He's going to get back and be like, all right, let's take care of Doom. And be like, we did that months ago.
I'm sorry, why does Wanda live in my house now?
Yeah. So there is some development there for him as a character. I still think the design is so fun with his cloak. He even talked about learning some of the new kind of features he can do. He had his, astral spirit take the cloak and take someone away out of harm's way. So there's some new abilities that they get to play with. One of the panels, just real quick, that I loved at the very beginning of this was Gallifron in the healing chamber.
Yes.
And he's screaming in pain.
Yes.
Weird. I guess like for hero fans, when they heal, it actually hurts more than being wounded. It's just one of those like funny things to just think about, like, oh yeah, like what if it works different for them?
Just to like describe that panel in further detail, Yvonne Fiorelli does a great job of making it look like Gallifron is screaming. He doesn't have a face, but he's screaming, and it's like these billows of smoke and fire. Here it's like, that is so metal.
He's this charred, like demon angel husk alien creature thing in this liquid chamber connected by all these tubes that are, healing him in some way. And he's just bubbling up with like fiery bubbles as he's like shrieking in pain.
It's like a Bacta tank from Star Wars, but if the guy inside was on fire.
Yeah.
So because Gallifron was like my favorite thing about the last issue, and Angela fought a dragon in the last issue.
That was so cool too.
Pretty awesome. Do you have, because we know he's still alive now, because we kind of thought he was just like, he was, DOA, like, we met him and then he was gone. What do you think? Like, do you have any suspicion? Do you have any like maybe guesses at like what you would like to see them, Derek Landy, do with him, Eric?
Well, I forget how he's connected to the male angels. I want to say
he's like a go-between. Like,
yeah.
He's almost like a heaven, like a grand vizier or an advisor to everybody, and he almost like speaks on behalf of the anchorites, because the anchorites don't really have a lot of like say in what happens in heaven.
Well, can he make more anchorites? Because they're going to need more anchorites at some point. So I don't know if they killed all of the anchorites. I don't know.
I hadn't thought about that they are going to need more anchorites. Gosh darn it, where are all the hot guys in heaven? Well, they died, actually.
Unless they just killed most of them, but it kind of sounded like they killed all of them. So I don't know if he can make more, or if they can somehow
whip up some anchorites, Gal.
Yeah. Use your Gallifron powers and make it happen.
Like he's freaking Zordon in that too.
Oh like Jurassic Park, life finds a way.
Exact. Gallifron finds a way. I have this feeling. I don't think we're done with him in this story, but I also like Angela does not want to be queen. And I don't know if she's going to relent in that, or if Riala will become queen in heaven, or if like, will Gallifron act as like a regent?
No, you can't have Gallifron be a regent. He's not an angel.
Okay, right. I'm just saying like in Angela's place.
Angela is is she's such a fun character. And, she's actually the firstborn of Odin as well.
Yeah.
So she could come and rule Asgard too. She's just got royalty in her veins and she just is not here for it. So
speaking of Angela, one of our, the most direct Thor connections here, I love how Derek Landy is writing her. As this, she's one dimensional in the best way. And I don't mean that to reduce her to be she's big anime, sexy sword girl. I mean it in she has zero fucks to give. And she is so business. And she always goes towards the most direct way of solving a problem. We see how Strange identifies the energy within this orb as something strange and foreign. She's like, I say we cut it in half. And it's well, let's not be too hasty.
And that leads to one of my favorite lines. So Strange goes, you have a theory? And she goes, theories are for the weak. I have decided what I know. What a great line. That's brilliant.
She's an 80s action hero, in her logic. Eric, any final thoughts on Doctor Strange number 3 and where we're headed? Are we headed towards a second War of the Realms?
I think next issue we're going to get a beat him up, smash him up, and I want to see more of Strange wielding some of his Asgardian magic in huge ways. But I think he's going to start. I think he's getting a little homesick. I think he's starting to think, "Where's my exit strategy here?" Because we've got to kind of wrap this up, and I think he's looking for the exit pretty soon.
Maybe we got a little bit. We did get that tease, like what you were saying with the portal, and maybe after we've dealt with Verboten, maybe it'll be more overt. Strange's next mystery he wants to solve is, when the heck do I get to go home?
And that's also, I think, giving breadcrumbs to the diehard Strange fans who are get him back with Clea, get him back on Earth. What are you doing? And so it's sort of acknowledging hey, we know this is a temporary thing. It's not forever, but let's enjoy it while we have it. So.
Oh man, this has been a great week of comics. I mean, Knull was spectacular. And Doctor Strange number 3 continues to tell a story that we are heavily, and I'll speak for myself, emotionally invested in. I am very excited to see what we get on next week. We have Mortal Thor coming out, number 7, I believe. And so stoked for what that story is going to be. Eric, any final thoughts on our new comics? And we're going to wrap up, hop aboard the Rainbow Bridge, and get out of here.
It's a great time to be a Thor fan and a fan of Thor-adjacent characters. So we're eating pretty good. And next week is a Thor week. The solicitations are rolling out. So listeners, if you like to be cover spoiled by seeing what the covers have up through basically June now. There's a massive solicitation dump. Check it out and get excited for what's coming up.
Go check out the not spoilers, the solicitations for both the Queen in Black. Go check out the solicitations for Mortal Thor. For I think all of the solicitations for the Knull limited series are out right now. If you want to have a little bit of, like Eric was saying, a breadcrumb of what's coming up, go do that. Or if you're more like me and you're like, hey, that's awesome, I'm going to kind of experience it as it comes out. We are fans of both types of readers. Just go check those out if you want, or remain unspoiled if you'd like. Everybody, if you want to connect with us further, you want to get maybe some more bonus content, you want to chat with us, check us out on Instagram and Discord. That's where you can chat with us in our little merry band of weirdos on the internet, talk about comics, talk about, I don't know, whatever we want to talk about. And we also, if you want to support the show just for a few bucks a month, you can click the link in our episode description for Patreon, and you'll get pre-games and some early episodes when we're able to get them to you. It's just a way to help us kind of keep our few lights that we have. We'd like to keep them on. We have more like lamps. We don't have a big overhead light to keep everything on. We have like a few lamps in the corners, and we
use the big overhead light. We all know this. Use the lamps.
Exactly. That electricity bill is going to go through the roof. But everybody, if you are tracking down ancient elder god relics, whether you are solving murder mysteries all throughout the 9 realms, whether you're excited for the comics that are coming out next week, next month, or in the summer, we just hope you do one thing, and that is stay worthy.
Shall possess the power of Thor.
Bum, 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 bum.